Where does a king's security rest when he calls himself a stranger? The word behind stranger is ger, Hebrew Strong's H1616. It means a resident alien, someone allowed to live within a community, yet without ancestral land or an inherited claim of his own. Psalm 39 verse 12 says, Hear my prayer, O Lord, and give ear unto my cry. Hold not thy peace at my tears, for I am a stranger with thee, and a sojourner, as all my fathers were. David pairs ger with tôšāb, the Hebrew word translated sojourner. These are not romantic names for a carefree traveler. They describe a vulnerable person whose place is temporary and whose protection depends on the household that receives him. That makes David's prayer startling. He is a king, yet before God he does not present himself as an owner, a ruler, or a settled heir. He comes as a dependent guest. First, David's tears become a guest's appeal to the divine host. The verse begins with urgency. Hear my prayer, give ear to my cry, and do not be silent at my tears. David is not bargaining from strength. A resident alien could not point to inherited property and say, This is mine by right. He appealed to the protection of the household to which he had attached himself. In the same way, David asked God to hear him because his life is sheltered beneath God's care. His weakness is not hidden. It becomes the very language of his appeal. Second, the words with thee turn landlessness into dependent belonging. David does not merely say, I am a stranger. He says, I am a stranger with thee. That small phrase changes the whole picture. He has no permanent claim on the world, but he is not abandoned in it. He belongs beside the divine host. Leviticus 25, verse 23, declares that the land ultimately belongs to God, and that Israel lives before him as strangers and sojourners. If God is the true landowner, then security is not finally possession. It is being received, protected, and kept by him. Third, ger and tôšāb together strip away every illusion of permanence. The paired terms intensify David's confession. His home, his crown, his wealth, and even his days are temporary. Earlier in the psalm, he says that every person at their best is altogether vanity, and that human life passes like a shadow. The two words do not deny the goodness of earthly responsibilities. They put those responsibilities in their proper place. A house can be cared for without becoming a god. Money can be stewarded without becoming a refuge. A position can be served faithfully without becoming an identity that death cannot take away. Fourth, even a king stands before God as a guest rather than an owner. David's royal status could not make him self-sufficient. The highest human authority is still borrowed authority, exercised on ground that belongs to God and within days that God gives. This is not humiliation for humiliation's sake. It is freedom from the exhausting need to secure ourselves through control. When we stop pretending to be absolute owners, gratitude replaces entitlement. Stewardship replaces grasping. Prayer becomes honest because we no longer have to perform strength before the one who already knows how dependent we are. Fifth, the fathers teach David that pilgrimage can carry covenant security. David adds, As all my fathers were. Abraham lived in the promised land as a stranger. Isaac and Jacob dwelt in tents while trusting a promise larger than what they could presently possess. Their unsettled condition did not mean God had forgotten them. The host remained faithful from one generation to the next. David places his tears inside that family story. He remembers that covenant security can endure even when circumstances feel temporary, fragile, or unfinished. The bottom line, David's security rested neither in his throne nor in his property, but in the hospitality and protective custody of God. Ger and tôšāb confess that human life is temporary, dependent, and unable to create its own permanent inheritance. Yet with thee keeps that confession from becoming despair. David is a guest, but he is God's guest. He is vulnerable, but he is sheltered by the faithful owner. The fathers show that this dependence is not abandonment. It is the place where covenant faithfulness is received. This perspective changes how we face instability. A move, a financial setback, a lost role, an uncertain diagnosis, or a season of grief can expose how quickly earthly supports shift. Psalm 39 does not ask us to pretend those losses are painless. David brings tears, but it invites us to bring them to the host whose presence is more durable than everything we cannot keep. It also changes how we treat other people. Those who know themselves as received guests become more willing to receive the displaced, the lonely, the immigrant, the newcomer, and anyone who lacks the protection others take for granted. We do not extend hospitality from a pedestal. We offer to others a reflection of the care on which we ourselves depend. Today, name one possession, role, or plan that you have been treating as permanent. Thank God for it as a temporary stewardship. Then name one vulnerable person whose welcome could become more tangible through you. Ask the divine host to loosen your entitlement, deepen your trust, and make your life a sheltering place for someone else. Discover this every day in the Bible Verses Meaning app. Tap any word in Scripture for a detailed word study, then ask a biblical insight question to explore how the passage fits together. The app helps you move from the original word to the wider biblical context and into practical wisdom for today. Today's original song, No One Walks Alone, extends this study through the promise of presence in seasons when the road feels temporary and uncertain. Listen as the song turns David's confession into a personal response. Our security does not come from owning the road, but from being accompanied and sheltered by the one who never leaves.
Yours, planting seeds in the soil of someone else's shores. You know the law, you know the grace that keeps you here. A resident who holds the line between the hope and fear. Neither fully in nor cast out to the wild. Walking with the dignity of a displaced child. We hold a space for the ones without a home. In this circle of believers, no one walks alone. So hold my hand, we'll build a bridge across the night. Out of the shadows in a world that's tested by the light. No stranger here, no one casts aside to find their way. Shelter in the storm, the promise of the day. It's a mutual obligation, a covenant of prayer. Running in sanctuary, in the sacred, holy space. You know the ancestral land to have a sacred name. There's a fire in your spirit that no border can ever tame. A resident alien with the soul that's flying free. Living up the truth of what a community should be. It's about the dignity we afford to every soul. Gathering the fragments and making something whole. So hold